A few weeks ago, I shared 5 ways to get books for your classroom for cheap and even for free. Today, I want to dive deep into one of those ways, Scholastic book orders. You can get so much out of these book orders if you're doing it right. Let's go check it out. Okay, let's start at the very beginning. Scholastic sends so many flyers to teachers. There are times that I had as many as 10 different flyers that I could send out to my class each month. Too many. That's gonna overwhelm families. What I decide to do is I pick 1 or 2 of the best flyers for my students, the appropriate levels, what I think they might be interested in, and I just send those 2 home. Parents always have the option of going online and seeing the entire selection of books online, but sending just 1 to 2 flyers home makes it less overwhelming for families when they are ordering. Once I choose those 2 flyers, I pass them out to students in class. I don't just shove it right in their folders. I pass them out and I give them 4 to 5 minutes to really look them over and see if they find anything that they might be interested in. While they are doing that, we come up with a class list of books that they would be interested in. And this works in 2 ways. It gets them interested in the books that are in the Scholastic Flyer. It helps me create a list of books that they're interested in. So when I go to order books for our classroom library, I have a whole list of things to choose from. I don't have to sit and wonder, would my class like this? Would they like this one? I have a whole list in front of me ready to go. While they're looking at the flyer, it gets them talking about books, which is awesome. So that's really important too. Whether they order or not, whether I order or not, they're talking about books, talking about things that interest them. So that's a great conversation to hear them having with each other and with me as well. Once we've previewed them together as a class, I staple them together and I attach a flyer to it on the front. That's a letter for families that explains the process if they've never used Scholastic before. It gives our Scholastic code. Sometimes I will also attach a suggested reading list, some books that I know connect to what we're learning about in class, or books that their child has shown interest in before, maybe an author they've read in class or a genre that we're talking about. This gives families a starting point of where to look for books that would be of interest to their child. And an extra tip, I always print this flyer on bright neon Astro Bright paper, I think that's what it's called, and it really makes it pop out and is colorful in the folder, doesn't get lost amongst a sea of just plain white paper. That bright pop of color always helps as well. So now let's talk about what you need to do after you've sent home the flyers. I usually give a due date of about 1 to 2 weeks. I try to do a longer period of time, like a month or so, but then I realized parents were forgetting about the book orders and I was getting less orders in when I gave them that extended period of time. So giving just a small amount, 1 to 2 weeks, seems to work really well in getting as many book orders back as possible. During that time, usually towards the end, I'll send out a reminder to parents, whether it's through an app that our class uses, a whole class email, or a flyer in their folder, just to remind parents that, oh, there are only a few more days left if they want to order books for their child. During this time, I also like to build excitement in the classroom about books that I'm thinking about ordering for our own classroom. And this really gets the students interested in ordering their own books at home. And when I'm talking about it, then it's on the front of their minds and they'll go home and talk about it as well. I will say that I don't push ordering on the parents. I'm not a salesperson for Scholastic. I just want them to have the opportunity to order books for their child if they want to at a discounted price in a very simple, easy way, and just give them that opportunity. But I don't push it on anyone, and I'm very aware of the dynamics of my classroom when I'm sending these out as well. While the flyers are out and I'm waiting for orders to come back in, I also make sure that I check out the monthly specials that are going on through Scholastic and think about which books that I can get from my classroom that I might need for my classroom, where I have some empty holes. I use that time to figure out what are the best deals that I can get at that time. So now we've passed out the flyers, students have sent their orders in, I've ordered books for our class, the books have finally arrived. And I don't know about you, but even as a student, I got really excited when I saw that Scholastic book box on my teacher's desk. Even if I hadn't ordered anything, I just knew there were new books in there and I couldn't wait to see what we had. So any student that orders, I just slip their books right into their their cubby right away. It doesn't bring attention to it for those students who may not have had an order. But the books that I've ordered for a class, most of which I have gotten for free because of book orders, I place the box in a prominent place in our classroom. This way, it's unopened, but it's in a place where everyone can see it, and I leave it there for a little while. This really builds interest. When are you gonna open it? What's inside? What books did she get? And it builds that excitement and they can't wait to open it. So finally, when they can't bear it any longer and I can't bear it any longer, we open the box together as a class. Depending on the classroom that I'm in, we either sit on the floor and do it together, or I'll do it in the front of the classroom. I'll open it, I'll pull out all the books that are inside. I'll give students the chance to really look at all of them. This way, it builds their excitement, it builds their interest. So next time, they might want to put an order in. Even if they don't, now they know what books we've added to our classroom and they're so excited to read them as well. They've seen them, they've held them, they've talked about them with me, with a classmate. This is awesome. Another thing I like to do, especially when I was teaching 5th grade, is I would raffle off the chance to be the first person to check the book out of the library. And students loved this. I can go deeper into how I did this raffle if you're interested. Just write the word raffle in the comments below and I can really go into how the raffle worked because my students really loved it and it built that engagement in brand new books in our classroom. Now that all the students have gotten a chance to see the books that we have, we've unpacked them all from the box. The next thing that I do is send home a thank you note to all my students' families just to let them know all the books that we earned for our classroom and let them know how appreciative I am of the chance to earn those books for our classroom and how much they're gonna help our students. There's a variety of different ways that you can do this. Sometimes I would send a picture of just the books that we earned. Sometimes I would take a whole class photo of them holding the books and send that in the thank you note. The thank you note was sometimes an email, sometimes a handwritten card. I even involved students in the process and they would let families know which one they were so excited to read. This really let them know that I was appreciative of the orders that they placed and how helpful it was for our classroom. Because sometimes I don't think families realize that we earn free books when they order. I know that they really like to help out our classroom and that's a great way for them to do it. They have books for their home and we get books for our classroom at the same time. Today's question of the day is, do you use Scholastic book orders in your classroom? I'd love to know who's using them, how often you're sending them home, because they are really helpful for your classroom and in building your classroom library. I hope that these tips for ordering from Scholastic Book Order were helpful for you. If they were, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. As always, subscribe to my channel down below so that you don't miss a video. I will be back next Sunday night with more tips and tricks about reading in your classroom. Have a great week. Blah, blah, blah. I'm almost done. But I can be done. Do you, oh,